Let's talk about Vanity URL today. So what is Vanity URL? Before starting this, I would like to tell you this will help a marketing team, developers, as well as freshers or experienced people who will be attending interviews on SailPoint. So my basic concern in this video is about Vanity URL. So I have done a lot of research on it and I'm going to share my knowledge to you. If you want this document to refer, please contact us. So what is Vanity URL? It is a customized, branded, and often shortened web address designed to be memorable and easy to share, often used for marketing purposes. Not only for marketing purposes, but also for the users to make their job easy, this Vanity URLs will be used. So what it does, it directs us to a longer, less user-friendly URL, enhancing brand recognition and user experience. Suppose developer 1234567 8.identitynow.com, which is not that user friendly when it's compared to idmitguru.identity.now, like that. Now, let me show you an example here. So let me take IDM IT Guru as the brand name, assuming that this is your company name. So default identity now URL before the vanity URL will look like this: https://idmitgurus.identitynow.com. But this is not a user-friendly or brand polished uniform resource locator. So what we do is when we configure a Vanity URL, it will be something like this. So https identity.idmitguru.com. So this is more user-friendly when it compares to this URL. So here what it does is it reflects your brand, which is IDM Guru, and also uses a custom subdomain, which is identity dot, and it looks more professional and trustworthy for the people or the companies who use your URL, and can also be used for single sign-on login pages and user access and marketing material. So SSO is single sign-on. Example is our Gmail. So the full Vanity URL example, once you log into your dashboard, looks like this. So https identity.idmitguru.com/UI/dashboard. So, okay, we have configured a Vanity URL. So what are the benefits of this? So as we have discussed, it improves the brand recognition. It enhances user experience because the URL will be short and easy to memorize, as well as type, share, etc. Obviously for marketing, so that Vanity URLs can be used in various marketing materials, including social media, emails, print publications, and offline marketing activities. Even this can be included in your signatures, which will help us to promote our companies. And also SEO benefits. What is SEO? So SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. It is a process of improving a website so that it appears higher in search engine results, like in Google, Bing, ChatGPT, etc. So generally, whenever we are searching for some keyword in the search engines, most likely we will be clicking on top 3 to 5 results, which will be visible when we search something, right? So when people search for something like best laptops under 1,000, this is an example I'm considering here. They usually click on the top 3 to 5 results. So better SEO, that is search engine optimization, is more visibility, traffic, and potential to customers. So SEO in simple terms is making your website easy for Google to understand the users to love your website. So again, when we talk about search engines, there are different types like on-page SEO, off-page SEO, technical SEO, and local SEO. So what it focuses on-page focuses on content keywords, meta tags, headings, and internal links, whereas off-page focuses on backlinks, social signals, and brand mentions. And technical SEO, it focuses on site speed, mobile friendliness, sitemap, and security, whereas local SEO focuses on Google Business Profile, local keywords, and reviews. So most likely our vanity URL will help us to enhance the SEO experience. Okay, one more example. Let's consider if I have searched like top 10 healthy smoothie recipes and optimize it with keywords like healthy smoothies, headings, fast loading speed, mobile friendly keywords, and get backlinks from food blogs. So then your blog will likely rank higher in Google, bringing in more readers. Okay, that is about SEO. Let's focus on our topic. So the other advantage of Vanity URL is link management. These URLs allow for better control over link management, enabling you to track clicks and direct users to the different pages or content. So example, we must be always saying these kind of URLs, right? yourbrand.com/special offer, facebook.com/yourbrand, twitter.com/ID something like that. So this makes user friendly and it helps the user to remember, recollect, and type our URL easily. Okay, and there is one more term which is often confused with vanity URL is vanity domain. Okay, so what is vanity domain? It is completely a different domain that the name acquired specially for a vanity URL, whereas the vanity URL redirects us from the different URLs to a specific page or content. So let's see the differences between this. So vanity domain is custom domain or subdomain, whereas vanity URL is full custom web address. Let's take an example. Identity.mycompany.com is vanity domain, whereas vanity URL is this entire URL, wherein you can see the login page. And this vanity domain is used for branding or domain level customization, whereas vanity URL is used for user friendliness, easy to read URL for navigation. And vanity domains are used in DNS emails and SaaS branding. SaaS means service as a software, which is our IdentityNow. Okay, the IdentityNow is one of the examples of SaaS branding. And then vanity URL, IAM, platforms, marketing, single sign-ons, and social sharing. So this is the main difference between vanity domain and vanity URL. And people also will be getting confused with vanity URLs and shortened URLs. Are we same? No. Vanity URLs are a type of shortened URLs, but they are specifically designed to be branded and memorable, while shortened URLs are simply shorter versions of long URLs without necessarily being branded. So where we have seen this shortened URL, while we are using our Google Drives and we want to share our drive link to someone, we might have used this shortened URL. Got your memory back on where you have seen this shortened URL? Yes, you're right. Now, there is one more term which is often worried or people gets confused with vanity URLs is canonical URLs. So a vanity URL is a shorter or more memorable web address as we have discussed, and which is redirected to that canonical web address or the actual full address. Now you got that? Okay. So vanity URL redirects us to the canonical URL. That's the only thing. Then, what is the difference between tracking URL and vanity URL? Vanity URL, as we already have discussed, with the vanity URL, your customers don't see a string of nonsense characters or unfamiliar words, only a clean branded link that tells them where we are going. Okay, but whereas the tracking URL will have all the numbers like something, something, something. If you see the Google URL when you after you search something, then you will understand what is tracking URL. So, do vanity URLs affect our search engines? Notably, 301 redirects tell search engines to index the original URL, not the vanity URL. Some sources promote the misconception that any redirect can hurt your SEO. However, search engines do not consider 301 redirects for ranking, meaning that the vanity URL will not impact our search engine optimization of the destination URL. So happily you can use your vanity URLs. And next, is a vanity URL same as a redirect? So we already have discussed, but let's understand it in a better way. For example, if you were to delete a page for a conference you are no longer hold, suppose this is the page, you might send visitors to your main events page instead to this. Okay, so a Vanity URL is a type of permanent redirect. So it's not completely a redirect page, but it's a permanent redirect where you will go to the main page. Okay. Then what is the difference between a subdomain and a vanity URL? Vanity domains may be compared with vanity car registration plates, while similarly identify their owner as an individual and not just someone relying on another organization service. Whereas a subdomain is an ISP's domain that is aliased to an individual user account in a vanity domain. So subdomain is different from vanity URL. Okay. So as we may have noticed, a vanity link and vanity URL are used interchangeably. Another term that is often used is vanity domains, but there is a slight difference between vanity domains and vanity URLs. So don't make this mistake of using vanity domains for vanity URLs. Okay, so now comes the role of a developer. So how do you create a vanity URL? So while you're configuring your virtual appliances, you will be creating this vanity URL also. And one quick interview question is, can we change the vanity URL after we have created the virtual appliance? Yes, we can do that. So you can create a vanity URL for your site. So these are some of the considerations which we have to consider when creating a URL. So before we create the vanity URL, we need some prerequisites. So ability to create name server records for subdomains in your domain. So certain domain name servers providers do not allow name server records to be created for a subdomain. Okay, so we have to check with the registered DNS provider to make sure if the name server records can be created or not. Then you have to make sure that you are able to create name server records for subdomains before processing. It is important to have this figured out before selecting a vanity domain name for your service. So this is one of the prerequisites which we have to consider before creating vanity URLs. Then complete the following steps. There are like 6 different steps which we need to follow. So first we have to decide on the appropriate URL for hosting your IdentityNow on your own domain. Here is an example. You can fix on one URL. Then all URLs must be Unix. That means for sandbox, for stage, for your production, it should be unique. And obtain the necessary TLS certificate and key. We support the following. We means SailPoint options for obtaining TLS certifications. Only one of the options may be used for a specific site. So have SailPoint request and post the certificate for your vanity domain through Amazon Web Services, Amazon Certificate Authority. This is completely free of charge, and this is the preferred method. So what is the advantage of using AWS certificate is the certificates can be provided free. That's the first advantage. Then certificate renewal will be handled by them. You will still be required to approve the renewal. So we will still have control. Then approval can be done by a verification email sent to the domain administrator on record with your domain registrar. An arbitrary email address cannot be used. Okay, this is the most secure option. It minimizes the possibility of your private key being compromised. Even we won't have access to the key itself. It is stored in AWS secure key storage. So this method offers the least complication and requires you to select an approval link in an email. That's the simplest. So this is the best way to generate a certificate. Then potential drawbacks. Neither you nor us will have access to the private keys. You may need to approve the certificates twice due to how AWS handles certificates and regions. This next step is have SailPoint generate the certificate signing request. So using AWS is one way. Next thing is SailPoint can generate the CSR. You then fulfill the request and return the signed certificate and see a bundle to SailPoint. What are the advantages of this process is you can use your organization's preferred certificate authority for the certificate. We will have possession of the private key to the certificate. You don't have to figure out how to securely transmit it to us. Potential drawbacks. This process also have some drawbacks. What are those? Your organization may require you to have possession of your certificate's private key. You will be responsible for handling certificate renewal. Our engineers will have access to your private key, whereas this is more secure way compared to this because no one will hold the private key. Then generate everything on your own. This is the third way, and send the signed certificate key and intermediate certificate to SailPoint. What is the advantage of this process? This certificate request process is completely under your control. That means no one can do anything other than you. These also have some drawbacks. The certificate's private key has to be transmitted to us using some secure transfer method. This greatly raises the exposure to your private key. You need to decide if this resource key is acceptable. You will be responsible for handling the certificate renewals. Okay, so these are the ways in which we can generate a certificate. Then after generating the certificate, you have to send your hosted zone names to SSL or TLS certificate to SailPoint. Then SailPoint sends you to the name server records you need to set up in both internal and public domain name servers. Then you create name service records for each site on your DNS registration. This requires creating a subdomain delegation known as NS record entry inside your zone, with the value being the name servers we provided in step 4. This needs to be done for all IdentityNow sites that are part of your engagement. To see the proper delegation of your subdomain entries to the Amazon authorized name servers. So here we have to consider a few things. Your virtual appliances must be able to resolve both records with the same name servers information. As a result, you might also need to create records on your internal DNS servers. This might be true if you use separate DNS servers for employees and servers. You have a split origin DNS configuration. You otherwise don't damage your external DNS. So once you have completed all the above 5 steps, SailPoint provisions your site. Once complete, you and your SailPoint engagement team may start setting up the site for your case, for your use cases. So this is the entire process which we need to follow for generating a Vanity URL. This looks big, but this is very simple. Then, how do I generate a TLS certificate and key from my Vanity URL? Okay, this question can arise. So providing the correct certificate files is essential to getting your IdentityNow Vanity URL running as quickly as possible. Okay, so preferred method is using the Amazon certificate. Bring your own certificate is the second way, and alternate options are also available, which we already have discussed. Okay, so SailPoint is preferring us to get the Amazon certificate. Okay, so let's do that. Then, for this, what is the prerequisite? You have the ability to either receive and approve a certificate verification email from your domains or owner administration address that is in the file with your registrar, or insert special records in your DNS for certificate validation purpose. Okay, so if you meet the above requisites and wish to choose the option, simply notify the support engineer and they will take it from there. Okay, so bring your own certification. When we are getting our own certification or generating certificates in signing request, IdentityNow recommends allowing our team to generate the TLS certificate signing request for our IdentityNow Vanity URL. So what happens with this is it will ensure that all the required data is generated quickly correctly and safe for all parties that need it. If this option cannot be accommodated by your corporate policies, then you have to fill in some information and send it to SailPoint team, like the parameters of country, state, city, and company, department, production ID and vanity domain, and sandbox ID and vanity domain. These are mandatory fields. Okay, then after filling this form, send this completed table to IdentityNow support by including it in a case or a ticket. Then the SailPoint team generates the certificate and key and CSR. They need to, or they'll send you the CSR so that you can sign in, and you sign the CSR and it to the certificate to us. And just go through this when you are creating or generating your own certificates. Okay, so you can pause and see how this is done. And in the above steps, if you have to locate your private key, you have to, just say this process on how to do. Okay, so this is how you will be generating your private key. So why can't I give you a wildcard certificate? This question may arise to some of the people. So why we are not sending this? Please do not provide us your root or wildcard certificates. This is the statement given by SailPoint itself, as it is generally a bad practice to share these externally. There are various type of attacks that could maliciously forge your websites or intercept and decrypt traffic if a bad actor were able to access this. That's why don't share your wildcard certificate. Okay. Then next question. Can I use a self-signed certificate? How can you do that? Yeah. No. SSL or TLSL certificate must use a publicly trusted CA as the signing certificate to prevent untrusted error messages. Examples includes VeriSign and Thoughtace, among others. Okay. If my certificate is expired, then what should I do? How do I update my certificate? So please open a support ticket for assistance. They will take care of it. And these are some of the interview questions which may be faced by some of the people. So what is Vanity URL in SailPoint IdentityNow? Why would an organization use a Vanity URL? What is the default domain for SailPoint identity domain without a vanity URL? That is organization name.identitynow.com. How do you configure the vanity URL in IdentityNow? The above steps which we already have discussed right now. What are the DNS prerequisites for setting up a vanity URL? This also have been discussed previously. And can you walk me through the SSL certificate requirements for vanity URL setup? This also have been done. Then which parties are involved in configuring Vanity URL? SailPoint support team, they will be enabling your Vanity URL. Customers, IT or infra team for DNS and SSL certificate setup. Certificate authority for SSL insurance issuance. Admins or consultants for coordinating the setup process. Okay. So whenever you want to answer for a question, please pause and go through that. What kind of SSL certificate is required for a Vanity URL? A standard SSL or TLS certificate, wildcard or SAN certificate depending on use case issued for the Vanity domain, but this is not recommended. Who is responsible for managing the SSL certificate for Vanity URL, the customer or SailPoint? The customer is responsible for procuring and renewing the SSL certificate. They must provide it to SailPoint before expiration. What happens if the SSL certificate expires? How would you avoid service interruption? The Vanity URL will become inaccessible due to SSL errors. To avoid this, track certificate expiry, renew and submit the update certificate to SailPoint well in advance, usually 1 to 2 weeks before expiry. How do you ensure that Vanity URL is correctly working? Open the Vanity URL in the browser and check for SSL padlock and redirection. Test login flows and deep links, ensure no errors or certificate warning appears. So generally, testing team will be doing this. If users report issues accessing IdentityNow via Vanity URL, what steps would you take to troubleshoot it? Check the DNS resolution using nlookup or dig commands. Validate SSL certificate through browser inspection or OpenSSL command. Test the default ID and URL for comparison. Check if the certificate recently expired or was updated. How do you ensure redirects from the default SailPoint URL to the Vanity URL are working as expected? SailPoint doesn't automatically redirect by default. You must ensure bookmarks and documentations use the Vanity URL. Login links and integrations like SSO or IDP point to the Vanity URL. How does Vanity URL affect branding user experience in identity? It improves trust and professionalism by displaying a company branded login page, reducing confusion and increasing user confidence during authentication. Are there any specific considerations to be aware of working implementing a Vanity URL? Yes. SSL certificate management is critical. Secure DNS management is required. Ensure proper authentication flows like SAML or OIDC are updated to use the Vanity domain. Can you use multiple Vanity URLs for different regions or environments like the Q and prod? No. SailPoint supports only one Vanity URL per tenant. For multiple environments, you need different tenants with individual Vanity URLs. So in the question 12, we have discussed like what DNS and all. So what is DNS resolution? DNS is domain name server, which translates domain names like identity.mycompany.com into IP addresses, or so browsers can find the correct server. If DNS is not set up correctly, example, wrong CNAME record, the Vanity URL won't work. How to check it? So as I have told you in question 12, using NS lookup for Windows, Linux or Macs, this is the code which we need to give. This will return the IP or CNAME record. You want to see if it points to something like mycompany.identitynow.com. If it is Linux or Mac, use this command and check. Then example. This means DNS is properly resolved. The Vanity URL maps to a SailPoint tenant. Can any Vanity URL be changed after configuring the VA in SailPoint identity? Question. So ChatGPT said it's a great question. That means this has been asked in the interviewers. Yes, a Vanity URL can be changed after VA configuration, but it requires coordinated updates. What are those? Let's see those again. So when we give this, you will be getting this, and you make sure if it is 300, then it is working fine. Okay, so key areas that needs to be updated are if you are not changing the Vanity URL after the virtual appliance is created, is already configured and registered. So let me revise the question. Can a Vanity URL be changing after configuring the VA in SailPoint IdentityNow is configured? Answer is yes, but you have to update on few things. What are those? IdentityNow tenant configuration. You must request SailPoint support to change the Vanity URL on another side. Provide the new SSL certificate, domain, and DNS setup. Virtual appliance configuration. The VA must recognize and trust the new Vanity URL. Update the VA configuration file or re-register the VA if required. Restart the VA after making configuration changes. DNS and SSL. Update the DNS CNAME record to point the new Vanity URL to your tenant. Ensure the new SSL certificate is valid and provided to SailPoint. Then SSO or IDP configuration. Update your identity provider of the Azure AD with the new ACS URL or redirect URL using the Vanity domain. So important considerations are these: DNS, SSL certificate, VA configuration, SailPoint, and SSO. So when it comes to DNS, update your CNAME to new Vanity URL. When it comes to SSL certificate, new certificate needed For new domain, VA configuration, restart VA or update VA.conference file. Then SailPoint, support ticket needed, SSO, update endpoints in ITP.